All right, Wayne's World. 5, 4, 3. Hey, everybody! Welcome to League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I'm your far superior to every other host tonight, Wise Papa Smurf, and here with me is consummate professional Aiden Rockarts. Aiden, what's up, dude?
I'm here. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, he is. That man is also known as Frost. I don't know how I was
Yeah,
going to
that
finish that sentence originally, but I changed midstream. I don't know. Here we go. Other also on the podcast is my bud Brad Adeptt Klein. What's going on, Brad?
Yeah, I'm here too. I'm super hyped.
Look how hype he is. If only you were plugged into the stream right now so you, listener, could see Brad's hype face. It looks a lot like a casual, cocky smirk, but that's hype, is what that is. For our
I'm real hype about being casual and cocky.
Yeah, for all of us acclimated listeners, we know that's Brad's hype face.
My
So
name in
tonight,
Zencaster today is Rich Homie Brad, so you guys could probably call me that.
so tonight we are off script in that we don't have one,
You
and
weren't
we're talking
supposed to
about
tell anybody.
really whatever the fuck we want to tonight. We do have one listener question we're gonna shoot. Uh, if things get stagnant, we may open the floor in Discord to other listener questions.
Nope, we're not gonna do that because that
No,
ruins Zencaster. We are 100% not gonna do
no,
that.
no, not Zencaster. What did I said? Discord? Open the
Yeah, but we're
Discord.
not bringing
That's what
people
we're
in to.
No,
to
no,
I
no.
think
I'm not
Ian's
bringing
like
people
them.
in. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, type your good questions. We'll pick them.
Oh, okay. I was
That
like,
kind of
nope,
thing.
that's.
Yeah,
Is
no,
it-
I'm not
it's
like just
gonna happen.
casually inviting people on the show to spice shit
Just
up.
casual.
You know.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. So here we go. Everybody, we've chit chatted. We've had a good time. It's showtime. So this week we have a don't be that guy. Brad, what's our don't be that guy this week?
Actually, the consummate professional Aidan is going to lead us off on the "Don't be that guy."
Dude, when I tried to explain it to you guys earlier, I stumbled over it like 8 times.
Yeah,
So
so I feel
that's
like
why
this
you should
time,
do it.
you worked out all the kinks.
I mean, I didn't, but here we go. So don't be that guy that doesn't want to change their champion choice to benefit the overall team comp of for the game, for the better of your team. Meaning, if your first four picks are all AD and you're really dead set on picking that Zed mid, maybe you pick that Ari this game. Maybe you pick the Orianna. Maybe you pick the whatever the fuck other than AD so that you don't auto lose the game when the entire enemy team builds full armor.
Now, if it would fit your team perfectly, should you pick a champion you've never played before and go straight into a rank game?
No, not necessarily. That being said, if say you only play Zed mid, Zed's your only character you play, and you don't play anything else, and your entire other team is all AD, you should probably be the one who's dodging because you don't want to adhere to your team and what they picked. So you're going to be that guy who almost leads your team into defeat just by not wanting to change your champion choice.
My personal favorite is when someone does not hover a champion at all,
Mm-hmm.
and then they last pick that Zed, and they're like, "Dude, I told you I wanted to play Zed." I'm like, "Fucking when? When did you tell me? When
When
you
did you
didn't
do
type it? When you didn't hover that champion? What was I supposed to read your fucking mind? I don't even know who you are. You're terrible as a human, and I don't like you. Dodge, please."
I pictured in my mind's eye what champion I was gonna play, and I concentrated on it really
I
hard,
projected it to you.
just so you would know.
The feng shui in your room must be off. You weren't getting my vibes.
And you banned it, so now I'm gonna be a dick to you all game. You know, so that's a good don't be that guy because I mean it's champion select relevant. I don't feel like we often focus on that phase. I would also add a don't be that guy of my own based on champion select. Don't be that guy that says anything in champion select that's not I intend to play this champion, thanks.
Can you explain that a little
There,
bit?
there are additional things I feel like you can say.
I feel like the only thing that you really need to communicate in champion select, the only positive thing that can really be taken out of champion select is this is my intention, right? Now, I suppose you could say other things along those lines like I am willing to trade you. this
what about-
champion, right? Or do something like that. But I don't like trading in solo queue. I don't think that's a good idea because everybody always forgets to do it. And then you have two champions with the wrong summoners going in different places. It happens like 40% of the time.
What about, hey, I got auto-filled mid. Does anyone want to swap?
I don't know.
And not like I can't fucking play mid. Someone needs to trade me. Like,
I
hey, man,
feel
got
like
auto-filled jungle.
I feel like
Any-
it's almost better to just eat it and just be like, okay, so I'm mid now. That's fine, and play. Because if you say I got autofill mid and I'd like somebody else to do it, and you end up doing it, it's gonna tilt your team. Because you're gonna be like, oh, we got a shit ass mid player, blah blah blah, negative mindset, blah.
I definitely think there's some aspects of that. I was spectating one of my friends at games. He recently just hit Diamond 1, and he was playing a game, and he had Tyler 1 on his team, and Tyler 1 was autofilled jungle. And they also had an autofilled top player, and that autofilled top player kept saying, hey, I'm autofilled top, I'm going to lose, I don't play this role, and I'm at this high elo, whatever. And as soon as they started losing that game, everyone in the game's just like, fucking shitty top player losing us the game, autofilled tops, GG. Like it kind of almost sets your team up to have that as the reason why you guys are failing. So I do agree with that to some extent, for sure. I definitely think that mentioning that you're autofilled could also be a benefit if someone does trade you, right? If you can get out of that role that you're not comfortable with, it's a benefit. But if you can't, then I would say it can lead to you being the scapegoat for why your team's losing.
Now, to kind of piggyback on that, if you say, hey, I got autofilled, can anyone swap me? And someone swaps with you, and then you fuck up?
Yeah.
Like, I had mid the other day, and someone had jungle, my secondary role, and they were like, hey, I got autofilled jungle. I suck at jungle. Can you trade me? And I was like, yeah, sure, you can play mid. That's fine. And then he proceeded to go like 0-4 on Annie to start the game, and I was like, this was a terrible choice. And I didn't yell at him because I don't yell at people in games because I'm not that big of a fucking dickhead. Plus, I like to win, so generally I don't yell at people at all. But inside screaming was happening.
Well, I mean, and if you're inside screaming, I have a hard time believing you're playing like at your optimal.
Oh, absolutely
optimal
not.
level. And that's why I'm like, it's almost better to just withhold information from everybody you're playing with than it is to try to get accommodations made.
All right, but what if I'm trying to think of a better example. What if you're a one-trick Zed with a 90% win rate on Zed and you get auto-filled, I don't know, 80 carry. And you're like, hey,
I hope this isn't your like 10% game that you fucking lose as Zed because you're gonna.
Right, but I don't think. My thing is, I don't think it's bad to like, or even if you don't say like, hey, I got autofilled. If you're just like, hey, any chance I can mid? And if they're like, no, you're like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think that hurts anything. Like I've done that shit a million
I'm just
times.
saying, like anything that is off standard of champ select is dangerous.
I'm just trying to think of like other. So like
seen
I've also
people
said
lose
things like,
their
hey,
shit over like benign casual conversation.
right, well,
You
those
know,
are
and
fucking
so it's-
dickheads.
Well, sure, but I mean, if you have a dickhead on your team
I know, I
that
was
is
trying
like
to
a
set you
powder keg of douchebag, don't light a match. You know
What
what I mean?
about-
Like, give them nothing to explode about.
I'm just trying to find more things that you're comfortable with. What about like, hey guys, they got a lot of AD on their team. Like just pointing out, just like, hey, they got, there's a lot of AP over there. Just something to think
Don't
about.
tell me what to fucking play, Brad. I'll play whatever the fuck I want. All right, fuck it. I'm playing Nunu. Support.
I'm personally
Like,
someone who
there you
doesn't
go.
talk a lot during champion select myself. That being said, the one thing I do mention a lot is if the enemy team is all one type of damage or AP or AD, I will casually mention, hey, you guys, you should build armor. Hey, you guys, you should build MR or build tabbies this game. You have just something like base, like very, very basic that everyone probably already knows. They're probably like, fuck this guy telling me this that I already know. But it's still something that kind of puts it in the forefront of their mind that can actually change the game, and I feel like can lead you to win more games. Like just
And
that little tiny bit of
would-
information.
You know, I would agree because you're just like maybe reminding somebody that might not have thought about it. That's fine. You might get the like, fuck you, don't tell me what to build. But okay, whatever. Just like, all right, build whatever you want then, dude. That's fine. But like, or like they have a Swain, a Soraka, and whatever. Like maybe we build Executioner's Calling. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know, shit like that.
Or Thornmail. We'll get to that later.
Ooh.
Yeah, like next week probably, unless we run out of shit to talk about. But
Well, it's in the patch notes.
yeah, we usually talk about the patch notes like a week later.
I don't know. I blacked out.
That's fine.
So,
It doesn't matter. I mean,
so
anything's on the table. This is the week
just
without show notes, so we do
just
whatever the fuck we want.
one more thing I feel like you could say in Champ Select that's not, it won't be a detriment to your team is like, why the fuck would you pick blah 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 into blah blah blah, you fucking idiot? Are you That's probably a good thing. Like,
Yeah,
why
no,
would you ever pick Renekton into Riven? Don't you know that Box is really good at Riven, so you're probably going to lose? And you're in
No,
bronze? You're like, yeah, I'm clear. Yeah, I guess. Huh?
I completely agree with that. Like when me and my friend were duoing Mord Blitz, we had pro players such as the mid laner for Cloud9, Jensen. He's like, when we locked in Mordekaiser, he's like, can someone just fucking dodge? We're gonna lose this game. This guy picked Mordekaiser. This game's over. It's like, if we started doing poorly, that team's going downhill fast. You know what I mean? Because of that one comment that was made during Champion Select, right? Or that mentality that someone set up before going into the game. I feel like you have to go into Champion Select with this kind of clear mind. You can give your opinions on what you want. You can give kind of reminders of what people should maybe do, but kind of forcing people to do stuff or even just setting your expectations to what should have happened is kind of just not a good way to go into the game, I think.
If you ever type, can someone dodge, you should be dodging.
I completely agree.
And if you're in like your promos or something, I hope you're duoing with someone that's not, because then they can dodge for you. But like if you type, can someone dodge, fuck you, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, don't be that guy that doesn't dodge for your duo partner when they're in their series. That's a dick move.
Yeah, you gotta be that guy. Listen, I don't care if you're at 99 LP. That's perfect. That
That's
means that your
perfect,
next
yeah.
win, you'll still probably get there.
I'll tell you how
Yeah,
much further you're going to be away when you fucking lose because your team sucks.
Yeah, don't be that guy. If you're doing with someone, you're in it for the thick and the thin, all right? You take that bullet, and then you hope that they take one back for you eventually. And they probably won't because you duo with dickheads, but that's their fault, not yours.
So, that being said, I think we covered a lot of ground here.
That was like 3 don't be that guy.
Yeah, so we had a lot of don't be that guy.
Don't be those guys.
So, I saw a 60-second tip. Credit to whatever Reddit guy put this pentakill up on Reddit. But this is another, like, short 60-second tip. With Syndra, when you grab somebody's pets and then walk completely out of their range and then throw the pet on the ground, it will not only go back to the target summoner, but it will also do damage. Which doesn't make any fucking sense because it hit the ground like a mile away, but then when it teleports back, the damage is transferred as well. So I saw
Wow,
Syndra.
that's dumb.
Yeah, I saw
It
Syndra
registers
grab
the-
Tibbers.
Yeah, it registers the out of range before it registers the damage. So
Yeah, so then it puts it right back on top of you and then drops the damage. So I saw Syndra kill Annie by grabbing Tibbers and running away and then throwing it as far away as possible. Tibbers then spawns on top of Annie and kills her.
That would be wildly frustrating.
Could you imagine? Like, you got completely away, you're feeling great, and then your pet just lands on your head. You're like,
I'm
"How
so
the
happy to see you.
You're just like, how the fuck did that just happen? But if you listen to the LOLA podcast, then now you know 60-second tip.
So basically, if you're really low and Syndra grabs your pet, run at Syndra.
Yeah, just run at Syndra. It's a kamikaze mission at this point. You're already dead.
Protect your pet.
Greenies. Protect your pet. Those are dog treats. They're shaped like little toothbrushes. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
nope.
No? Oh, no.
But I'm happy you're happy.
All right. So, all right, this week we have a listener question. I want to talk about where this one came from a little bit. So, during our community games, we had a rather unfortunate soul hop in that was like a level 27. And I mean, he was like a legit level 27, not like I'm leveling up a Smurf account, right? Which is fine. Happy to have you, right? Like, great. Uh, but he inadvertently got stacked up against One Tooth Bear in a lane off, who's one of the better laners that is a member of the community, right?
I just also I might have ganked him a bunch at the beginning of the game, not realizing that was the level 20 something that we had, and I might feel bad about it.
Yeah. So if you haven't figured out the story of what happened to this poor fellow, he got like hard analed for the entirety of the game. I mean, just, you know, right up in there, fist to the wrist, and then onto the elbow, and then blow the hand up to spread it out. So, ow. That being said, it was noticed by one of our listeners, Jakey Poo, who said, I've noticed that the Galio in the top lane seems to be ulting very short distances when he uses his ult. Do you think it is possible that he still has unlocked camera? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? That makes sense. He's level 27. It's a default setting. It is likely that he may have his camera lock on. That makes perfect sense. So when I got to thinking about it, I found this guy and I asked him, and sure enough, yeah, he did. So, one of the things I told him is, okay, well, turn that off immediately, and I want to go into the why of it. I'll let you guys, one of you wants to take pros of camera lock and the other one wants to take cons.
Well, what do you guys play first before we get into this? Maybe we can have, maybe we all have a preference. Like, what do you guys do?
I play unlocked camera with SmartCast on everything.
Yeah, same. I hit spacebar to center the camera, but I very rarely do that.
And I play what I like to call hybrid. I learned it from Dyrus. I'm not sure if Dyrus still does it. It's where I play locked, but I use the Y key to unlock and lock my camera depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm in a team fight or I need to look around, I hit Y to unlock it, then actually move it around like it's unlocked. But I usually keep it locked. So,
Okay, so you should probably do
Interesting.
the pros of locked camera because you do it more than either of us.
Yeah. So locked camera, first of all, very, very easy to keep track of your character. I'd say that's the number one benefit of locked is that it's kind of the reason why they implemented this new setting where there's a big, like, I don't even know how you turn it on. There's like a big arrow above your head now that you can
I've
turn on.
never seen that, and I don't know
hold
how.
down
I've
space
seen it on
bar.
other people's screens.
Yeah, you got to hold down
Behold-
spacebar for a period of time. So it's like if you hold down spacebar for like a second and a half or 2 seconds, then it like gradually gets bolder, and it's like there you fucking are. That's what it is.
Okay, I've seen that. It's like so locked camera allows you to keep the camera always focused on yourself, so you're always in the center of the screen. Therefore, you can't really lose yourself, which I find is a problem for newer players in chaotic team fights if they're playing unlocked. It's even a problem for people like Doublelift, like he's mentioned in interviews, like where if it's a crazy team fight, he has to like constantly hold space bar to keep it centered on himself, or else he'll lose himself, right? So even for the pro players, losing yourself in team fights is an actual problem. So keeping yourself unlocked does benefit with that. Obviously, it's much easier to mention the downsides of locked camera, but I think being able to keep yourself focused, being able to have all your skill shots line up from yourself rather than from different parts of your screen, depending on where your camera is facing, is much, much easier to learn for ranges, animation time, stuff like
Well,
that, like cast
I
times
think-
of projectiles.
Are you talking about that LCS interview that they did where they were talking about lock camera and they did an interview with Eminem who said it was helpful because he lost himself in the music the moment?
You're a piece of shit. I hope you know that. I hope that gets cut.
It's not going to get cut. There is
I hope
very
you
little
get
editing
cut.
that goes into this show, and that's going to stay, I have a feeling.
That was Buzz's girlfriend level.
Yeah. Woof.
No, woof.
Woof.
I want to hear the downsides of locked and the upsides of unlocked, though.
Okay.
So I had a lot of trouble transitioning, like from first starting to play on locked camera.
Well, hold up. How about we do this? I'll do downsides, you do transitioning. Because after we lay out the case, somebody's going to need to explain how to do that, right? So, downsides. You waste a lot of your vision when the camera is centered on you. A lot of the time, like if you have your back to tower, you don't need to be seeing exactly you in the center of the screen. You need to be in the like top right corner of the screen so you can see everything that's going. I'm imagining top lane, by the way.
Mhm.
You'd be in the top right corner, well, top lane like red side, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be in the top right corner so you can see everything that's going on in the lane, below you, the tri-bush, all that shit, because you're not wasting any frame, right? On global ultimates like Lux, Draven, Ezreal, whatever, the only way you can really accurately fire those at somebody who's at a distance with locked camera is to target your mini-map, which is suboptimal in so many ways, versus you can actually scroll over to them and then look and then fire in the direction that they are moving, and you can make a much more educated guess as to how you're going to hit that shot, right? Anybody that, and I mean, not just, whenever I say camera control, I mean not just you're on the edge of the camera, right? So if you're on the, let's say you're on bot lane and you're standing in the bush and you have centered camera, you're going to be wasting a lot of your vision looking at off-screen shit that cannot affect your game at all. And you're going to have no vision of the jungle, river entrance, or anything like that above you, which is a huge mistake because it's just wasted information on your screen. Right?
Yeah.
Also, if you want to scroll and check like Dragon or Baron, or your general map awareness will suffer from having lock screen on because you're pretty much limited to using F1 through F5.
That shit's not reliable, and I don't like it.
So there's a lot of reasons why I'd say don't play with locked camera, and I think it's probably a bad habit, would be my opinion, unless you get really good at toggling it. But that would really fuck me up mechanically to have my screen be like constantly recentering on my character. Because a lot of the times when I'm laying out hooks or I'm laying out skill shots, I'm trying to lead somebody. And if I have to shift the camera back to myself while I'm trying to do shit like that, it's going to be rough, right?
It's like how Yasuo ult's really disorienting the first time you hit it, where you're just like, wait, my screen was here, and then it just moved really far, but I didn't push anything. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, and like, what was it? Urgot used to do that. Because there was one time where I was trying to switch somebody places and then like use my E on where I was standing. And then it centered my camera, and my mouse was like way the fuck not where it was supposed to be, and I kind of just shot it into some grass. I was like, oh, fuck. So, yeah, I could see how that would be difficult. But at the beginning, it's really difficult to learn to play unlocked camera because it's like, it's a huge adjustment curve, right? But in my opinion, it's an adjustment curve that everybody kind of needs to take on because otherwise it's a glass ceiling to your map awareness. Okay, Brad, how do we implement some of that shit?
So this was like the first computer game I played since like the Oregon Trail. Like I was all consoles forever. So
Brad spent his first 30 levels shooting rabbits and getting dysentery.
yep, nailed it. So it was difficult for me, like just doing mouse and keyboard shit, let alone manipulating the camera while also trying to control my character and figure out what the other 100-some champs in the game did at that point. But I made myself do it because, in my opinion, the advantages are too great. One tip that I have, so like I was to the point where I was trying to figure out if I could hit like WASD to move my camera and then remap all my ability buttons because I was that frustrated with trying to move the camera with my mouse, because every time I'd fucking move it, it would shoot all the fucking way over here. And so what I wound up doing was just putting the speed that the camera moved really low when you drag and slowly increasing that. And so now it's at like a decent pace where I can like drag to the side, and then click to move, drag to the side, click to move as I'm chasing somebody. I mean, it takes a while to get used to, but I think that that's a big piece of advice, is because when you first start unlocked camera, it just feels like it's flying as soon as you hit the edge of the screen.
I think I'm going to go back. Another pro to unlocked camera is that I think it improves your mechanics. Because it forces you to take an attack move kind of approach to the game. Because you have to move your camera, do something else, move your camera, you know what I mean? Like, it gives you something that you constantly are having to do that you're going to have to adjust to subconsciously. And I think that helps improve like kiting mechanics and things like that, because you're already naturally moving your mouse in that way.
Also, if you're on lock camera, you never get those great moments where like you're following a Lee Sin Q off screen and you don't know whether you're gonna get the kill, but all of a sudden you see that you did, and you're like, haha, and then you hit spacebar and you control your character again. Those feel good.
It's also impossible to do some mechanic. Well, not impossible, but like probably 5 to 6 times harder due to some mechanics on characters like Lee Sin when you are on locked camera compared to unlocked camera. Meaning, if you're going to Q to someone and then your plan is to ward hop behind them and then kick, if you're on locked camera, where you're going to ward hop to, like say if you're going to, you don't, not even ward hop, say you're going to jump to a minion with your W, right? Where you're going to jump to a minion with your W when you're on locked camera changes as you fly through the air, because the camera's on you, right? So as you're moving down, that place that you want to click next is moving as well. So you almost like it's so
like
fucking hard.
I would
like
think
the
that
difference between shooting at a target with like a handgun,
Yep.
right? Or shooting at a target with a handgun while driving by it in a Jeep.
It's honestly like, because the second target that you're going to hit is moving while you're flying through the air because of how your camera is always centered on you. Whereas if you're on unlocked and you have the camera, say, just like right here, and then you're over here, you queue in, and the target where you're going to ward hop to doesn't change. It's there the entire time,
Right,
which
you
makes
could-
that mechanic so much easier.
And you could argue that the actual ward hopping part would be easier because you could just keep your mouse in one place because it's the maximum distance from your character. But if you're jumping to anything that's static, or if your plan is, I'm going to, ward hop over here and then queue to this guy over here, then you have to readjust your aim as you're in the air for the ward hop. So it's the follow-up action.
Yes, it honestly, it makes the world of a difference playing characters like that and trying to do those higher level mechanics if you are playing unlocked.
I will also say this. You shouldn't be trying to execute high-level mechanics if you still haven't figured out how to unlock your camera.
I mean, like, I play like hybrid is what I was saying, and I was trying to play Lee Sin with fully locked camera for shit like that, right? And then only recently, probably like last 3 months, I've been doing Lee Sin mechanics unlocked camera. Like, I wouldn't call myself a bad player by any means, but like, it's just the way I learned the game, right? And it's one of those habits.
Insert
that is really hard
dramatic
to break.
piano.
Where's the dramatic reality?
It's
So,
one of those
guys, Blake
mechanics.
found a soundboard, and he's very excited.
Yeah.
All right, sorry to interrupt, Jade.
No, it is one of those things that's really, really hard to break, though. So if you can learn how to play unlocked earlier in your League of Legends playing career, it will be much easier for you rather than for someone like me who's played for like 6 years, then tried to learn how to play another way.
Yeah, like, I think I started around level 30 or maybe like a month after that. So I was still pretty new, and it was just like, all right, we're going to break this habit nice and early. This sucks a lot, and you're going to be bad. You're going to fuck up a lot. You're going to get lost. You're not going to have a good time. But later, you'll have enough better times to compensate for this little bit of shit that you're dealing with now.
No, that's legit. I think that's true. Honestly, I think this is something that if you don't do it, you need to focus on trying to learn how to do it. I think there's just the upside incredibly outweighs the downsides to me of breaking that habit. So break that fucking habit. Because, I mean, I honestly think glass ceiling is the best way to describe what you're doing to yourself. You know, because theoretically, like, yeah, you could learn more about the game, you could do whatever, but you're always going to be mechanically gimped playing purely locked screen. And you're not going to have the same information that companion players have, and it's like putting yourself at a disadvantage. Okay, one more thing. you should never, ever, ever play League of Legends with your camera fully zoomed in all the time. Ever.
What did you watch like that Civ HD video way back when he played Volibear fully zoomed in for the whole game?
Yeah. I'm
It gave
sure
me
it
a
was
massive
terrible.
headache.
But I mean, that's the thing is the only reason you should ever be zooming in is a mechanical trick that nobody can block a Thresh Lantern if you fully zoom in. That is the
Yeah.
only reason to use the zoom function in this game ever.
But Blake, what about when I get a sweet new skin and I want to check out the emotes while I'm in laning phase?
Custom games, bro. I don't bring that shit into the Rift. But man, it's not a good idea. Don't do that.
I think
Why?
we've all had that moment where you're playing like for like 25 minutes through the game, and then you like scroll down on your mouse wheel, and it like ticks back one like zoom, and you're like, it's just like a little it's like a mini orgasm of like
Oh,
I
you're
get
just like-
this much more vision,
Yeah,
even though
you're
it's
just
like
like,
just
oh.
one little mouse click. You're like,
Well,
fuck.
For me, I'm just like, God damn it. I could have had that this entire fucking time, and I
Well, I guess
somehow
that's
accidentally
bullshit.
touched my mouse wheel. By the way, if you have the option in your mouse, make your mouse wheel like click rather than be like free spin. Free spin will cause you to zoom in on yourself accidentally during a game. Mechanical trick.
On a small side note, if you guys ever play ARAMs before going onto the Rift, the lack of the camera size available on the Rift is very confusing, and I just keep scrolling down to see. I'm like, why am I so zoomed in? Oh, this is normal.
All right. So, yeah, we've talked a lot about camera lock versus non-camera lock, pros and cons.
Quick pause.
Yeah.
Aidan, are you drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Well, I just
'Cause
finished
I
a
have
cup
shit
of
to do.
coffee.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you too? Like you don't know. It's too late for
What?
coffee.
I'm old and I have to be awake for like an entire hour during this. Fucking A, man. I'm a father. I can fall asleep on command at any moment if I want to. I am fucking exhausted 24/7. Coffee is like air to me. Both are essential to staying alive and awake. Boom.
No coffee after 3 p.m.
I really
for the-
should have turned on dramatic piano for that speech.
I'm a father.
I'm a father. And
I have
sometimes
needs like caffeine. And,
I need
and
coffee.
The love of my children.
Coffee to stay awake through the hard times of raising children. Not on my own, but with another person who can also help me do that.
Sometimes not help as much.
Okay, that's enough dramatic piano. Anyway, I love it whenever we listen. These guys, they can't hear the dramatic piano. I'm the only one that can hear it, so it's like doubly funny for me because there's going to be a lot of dramatic piano in this episode. Anyway, all right, so moving on. Guys, we have a new patch that came out. That seems like something we probably should talk about, considering that there are a couple of meaningful changes on this patch. First off, the new champion, Kayn, is out. Have you guys checked out Kayn's shit? Do you know anything about Kayn yet?
He's like edgy Yasuo.
Yeah, he does feel a hell of a lot like Yasuo, which means he will probably never see the light of day when he comes to the Rift, if he's at all powerful.
So his passive's really interesting in that basically you develop as a champion based on whether you're killing melee or ranged champs. So I think that it will be very influential on what lanes get ganked. Like if bot lane's got 2 ranged enemies and then it's melee mid, melee top, and bot lane gets ganked and it goes well, you might just be seeing bot lane get camped like a motherfucker because he wants to get those range kills.
Yeah, the other thing that I thought was kind of cool about this is that they gave him tools in his kit, like with his choice of a target or whatever, that's like, do you want to be a tanky guy that does % health damage, or do you want to be an assassin? So let's say you start off with the idea that, man, based on my comp, I would really like to be Assassin Kane, and then all shit breaks loose, and your tank's way behind, and you don't have anybody that can deal with their tank, you might want to just, change horses midstream, and you have that kind of flexibility. The
Yeah, I think that
downside to this champion is it feels like you're shit until you get a transformation, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take in a game.
right, and kind of along the same lines is it's like, what if I really need to be a tank, but bot lane needs help, and I keep going bot, and we keep getting kills, and now whoops, I'm an assassin.
Well, I think you can actually, you select the transformation you want. It just fills up a bar. Is what
Oh,
I
really?
was under the impression. It's like the Elementalist Lux skin kind of deal.
Ah, well, that's way better. I
It's like-
literally I read about it once. And
Yeah, once the bar is full of blue energy, you can transform this way. And then you're
oh,
locked
that's
into
way
that.
better. I thought it was just like, however the shit goes, off you go.
Well, I mean, I think that's the way it was, is what it looked
No,
like.
I hope you're right. That makes
You
more
get to
sense.
click the passive, yeah. You get
Yeah,
to click the
it's-
passive, but you don't get to change it after. You get to make your choice.
You're
once.
locked in. That's it. You picked. You're stuck. But you do get to actually, elect one way or the other. Because I can't imagine that you'd be you're doing real well, and then in the middle of a team fight, you kill, a melee guy, and now all of a sudden, there
It's
you
like,
go.
guess what? You're a tank, you fuck.
Yeah, you're
Like,
on a-
but
you're on
I'm
a team of
7-0.
tanks or something. It's like, nope, you're a tank. Fuck it. But I don't know, man. I like this concept. I like how each, rendition, I guess, of this guy focuses different abilities. I also like that they're revisiting the whole Darken thing, because that seems like a really cool, I don't know, lore pile. What do you call it? Storyline? That's
Lore pile.
Storyline is now referred to as a lore pile. But
Your mother was a lower pile.
yeah, I always thought that was a really cool thing, and I'm like, well, they didn't ever go back and touch that after Aatrox was released. Speaking of, Aatrox sucks.
Mm-hmm.
What
I
a
mean-
shitbag character.
I mean,
It's not great.
I mean, I've seen some Aatroxes tear ass and take off, but
hmm,
do you think they're gonna do anything with him, or have they announced that? Do you guys know?
They'll probably rework them again, honestly.
I kind of hope so, because it's just bleh right now.
Mhm.
And now that they're
I agree.
retouching the thing, that seems like a cool time to do that.
I
Okay.
agree.
So, other major points of the patch notes. Caitlyn, she's getting slightly buffed. Her attack speed growth has dropped by 2% each level. That's fine. She's the top ADC in the game right now. The one I really want to talk about that I think is going to make a huge difference is Cho'Gath. I honestly think that right now Cho'Gath is sleeper OP. It's just nobody uses him because his kit is super old and not that compelling, and people don't think I'm gonna make big plays with Cho'Gath, right? But the point still stands that when you can get to 7k hit points and still one-shot people,
it's so
that's
dumb.
a pretty broken kit. And I've been playing with Exile, and Exile's fucking Cho is disgusting. And what he does on it is, well, he goes Storm Raiders, which is to be expected, but he'll go Storm Raiders, and he'll also go, what's the stacking AP item? I'm just having a brain fart
Magi's.
right now. Thank you. He'll go Magi's, get all the movement speed from Magi's, and when he stacks it, he's faster than I am with Moby boots. It's real dumb.
This all makes sense.
So, yeah, because a giant dinosaur with a shitload of hit points and a Rod of Ages fully stacked should be really fucking fast, too.
I mean, I guess at that
That
point
makes-
he's got really long legs.
Well, I guess that's true. Taking fewer steps,
Yeah.
you know.
How many stacks does Cho'Gath have to get before he can step over walls? Because I'm trying to get
You should be. I mean,
right. If you have
realistically, it's pretty
50,
goddamn
if you have
big.
50 stacks, you can just walk in straight lines everywhere on the rift.
Okay, so what did they actually change about Cho'Gath? Instead of Vorpal Spikes being an always-on passive addition to your auto attack that does through damage, that basically gives you better wave clear and
Hey, Aiden, what's happening with your phone over there?
Oh, sorry, I was. I was just. I have to like
You're just
fidget
straight
with
up
stuff,
gnawing
dude.
on your
Yeah,
phone.
I'm a fucking child. I hate myself.
I just wanted to make sure that like it wasn't sassing you or something. Or, like
No,
maybe
I'm
you
just
were
a.
in
or
a
maybe
lusty
your phone case
relationship.
was made out of chocolate.
I mean, it is, but
That seems like it would be melty.
It's not a
what
good phone
about
case
what
for
about
your
Caitlyn?
pocket. You don't want to put your phone. We're not even talking about Caitlyn.
We
We're,
were.
we were talking
That's
about
literally the
Cho'Gath.
last. Then you literally said,
We moved
and
on.
Caitlyn's getting. That's literally the next thing you said was Caitlyn.
Yeah, I said Caitlyn a while ago, and then I
No, you
said
didn't. No,
Cho'Gath, and we were
you
talking
were
about
talking about
Cho'Gath
No, we were
like
talking about Cho'Gath
forever
but
ago.
no, 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 no. I'm 100% right.
All right, we're putting on the dramatic piano.
Ba, 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 ba.
I can't
Aiden,
wait for everyone
not
to say
paying
you're gonna have to
attention.
make a big long apology post, being like,
I
Do you
can't
think
wait
Blake
for you
would
to listen.
apologize? He'd be
I
like,
have.
ah.
Did you not see
that's the whole.
Discord? I
That's
ate
what I'm
shit on
meaning.
Ernie whenever I like ripped on Ernie for not being there, and then he links a video that's like, "Eat a dick, Blake. I was there," and I'm like, "All right, that's yeah. I get to eat a
You're gonna have
dick
to
on
make one
this
of
one."
those
No, I'm
for me.
not. No, because I'm actually in the middle of this conversation and we're doing this and we haven't been talking about Kaylin at all.
What happens if I'm right? What happens if I'm right?
I don't know, dramatic piano.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, we'll
We'll
see what
see.
happens. So anyway, Cho'Gath, his Vorpal spikes are now, instead of being like a passive auto attack enhancer, they are something that procs over the next 3 attacks, and anybody hit by the spikes are slowed. It now costs 30 mana, and the base damage is unchanged, so it's really not to damage. It's more for um, just the status effect of the slow. It does like 4% max health damage, so that's pretty huge. So I guess it does actually do some damage. Take that back. But the slow goes from 30% to 50%, and it decays over a second and a half. So, oh,
Wait, so
and it
Cho
gives you
can get
like
an extra
50 extra
12%
attack
of max.
range.
Cho can get an extra 12% max health damage with 3 autos.
With 3
Great.
autos, and it resets his basic attack. So he can auto, E-auto with the slow in addition to that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. He
'Cause
needed that.
he needed an auto attack reset. He's a dinosaur. Every
And it
dinosaur
was
has
like,
an auto
it's
attack
like,
reset.
wait a minute. Your Q's a knock up and a slow, and your W's a silence that's forever AOE. And wait, oh yeah, your E needs to slow.
Hmm. But, okay, so to be fair, after he got all of this percent health damage and slow and everything else, they did take 5 damage off of his Q only at max
Woo!
level. Only at max level.
Did you
So
know that
it's the
they're
same level 1, 2, 3, 4, but at max level minus 5 damage.
they're actually considering changing his passive to be a proto belt because they were like he needs more tools to get around.
They thought he may benefit from rocket skates. So they're building that in as a passive that he just has like Wile E. Coyote's rocket
Yeah.
skates.
Once every three,
He
once
can
every 3 to
also
6 seconds, you can proto belt at no cost, and you then have that speed boost until you gain a stack or die.
right. He also can paint tunnels on walls and then run through them at full speed. And if an enemy tries to follow, they'll just smash into the wall. And
And
occasionally, it will spawn an 18-wheeler or a train.
oddly, instead of going nom 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 nom, he now goes meep meep.
And instead of eating champions, he now eats birdseed. And occasionally, little metal balls that are attracted to a large Acme magnet.
Ooh, that's a bad look for him.
So anyway, where they actually did nerf
you
him,
forgot his biggest passive. If he's knocked up, he stops, looks at the camera, and then falls a few seconds later.
That's true. That's true. He's immune to fall damage. He just runs across air now. But anyway, where they did actually nerf Cho'Gath, just kidding, he actually got a longer silence. Enjoy that, Brad. Just take that in for a second.
None of this makes sense.
His silence was 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. Now it's 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.92 seconds. So it goes up by 0.1 seconds and then at level 1 and then kind of planes out by the time it hits level 5 to be the same. I have no idea why that's in there.
So
I don't know.
First of all, AoE silences are ridiculous. That should be
Agreed.
a targeted thing, or generally a skill shot. Like Soraka's like point and click AoE range silence that turns into a root. Fuck that.
I mean,
Fuck this
hold up
Cho'Gath
though.
one.
Like, how do you make a scream a skill shot? Do you hand him like a megaphone or a funnel?
Here's what he does.
Scream into this.
He
this,
throws
fucking
he
toilet
throws a
paper
cup
tube.
on a string at somebody, and if it hits them, they have to hold it to their ear, and then he yells into the cup.
Yeah, hold the rope taut. I'm gonna yell in this.
But you get what I'm saying. Like that's it, or even if it was like a straight line, and it was like he physically screamed out something, and the first thing it hit was silence. But like
He
fuck
has one
those
of those
abilities.
Ricola horns that he lays on the ground and then
you
screams
get it.
into that.
You get it.
That's good.
But I also have I would like to talk to Riot about this directly, but since I'm unable, I'll talk to you idiots. I would like to get rid of the only 2 suppressions that exist in the game because you should be able to cleanse everything, and that's stupid and I hate it.
Actually, that makes that's. I'm fine
Warwick
with
and
that.
Malzahar, fuck right off.
Is there not more? Skarner.
That's not a suppression.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it
he
is.
suppresses
Okay,
you
so
while
3.
he pulls you back. And I mean, you could count stasis. Do you count stasis? Because it has its own disadvantage.
But you can't get fucked up while you're in stasis.
Yeah, that's true. So Bard's all right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, I hate it. I just want to talk about it.
Brad, do you even care that Diana's getting buffed? Because it's kind of a big deal.
I mean, it's cool.
Oh.
No, I mean, getting what? So she's getting the attacks. I closed the patch notes.
Okay,
by mistake.
what
she's getting attack speed on her E.
I can go super fast on this. Moonsilver Blade or passive. Instead of passively granting 20% attack speed, her spellcasts grant 20% attack speed for 3 attacks, increasing with Moonfall's rank. And it now restores mana equal to 15%
that's actually hella
of her
cool.
AP.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Crescent Strike, the cooldown is reduced from 10 seconds to 6 seconds to 8 seconds to 6 seconds. So early on it's 2 seconds lower. At the end it's the same. Her cost on her shield with the 3 balls, right, is reduced by 20 at rank 1, and by the time it hits rank 5 it's the same. And then her E, where she sucks everybody in, she gets increased attack speed bonus to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
This is actually pretty dope. I'm a fan now.
But does it? I mean, here's the thing. Usually with Diana, you kind of go like a more burst-centric build. You know, because you're like, I'm going to hit you with my Q, which is going to do a shitload of damage. I'm going to rush you with my ultimate. Then I'm going to rush you with my ultimate again. Right? Or I'm going to hit you with my Q, wait till it's almost done, then ult you, Q you again, ult you. Right? That's like your bread and butter kind of combination. Right?
I think the big thing here that we're getting is the mana restore. That's the biggest part of this to me. Like the cooldowns are all well and good. The slightly increased attack speed is cool, but getting all that mana back, because that's the big problem, is you can't farm with your spells early because you run out of mana instantly. And then if you Q W alt E Q alt, like that's an entire mana pool plus most of the time until you get some items under your belt. So I think that the mana restore will be huge, because generally what you want to do is like auto Q, and then you can alt and you have your passive proc for your first auto. So like getting a chunk of mana back.
Here's kind of what I want to get at with you, as you have Diana experience, and that kind of actually helps me answer this question, is a lot of times people went for the Assassin Burst build, and I think that was honestly the best build. Would you agree?
Yep, I think it
Okay.
still probably is, but Nashor's is going to be an
Right.
ultimate core item now.
Versus the attack speed build where you have an AP attack speed like a Kale style build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're trying to proc your passive a whole lot by auto attack, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, does your E give you enough passive attack speed in combination with your passive? At max rank, it gives you 110 attack speed. Is that enough that you can forgo building attack speed and just go pure burst?
So Nashor's gives you a lot of AP as well
Right.
in any account, and you're being rewarded for those auto attacks because of the on-hit damage, which is why my inclination is to still build it. That said, you need it more for the on-hit than the attack speed, so maybe you could reconsider and go with something else, but I don't know what that something
Well,
would
okay,
be
to
offhand.
be fair though, she does rely on attack speed early, right? And you're
Mhm.
only going to get that 90% attack speed when Moonfall, the suck-in move, is level 5. That's not going to happen
at
until
level
level
18.
18,
Mhm.
right? So you probably can't wait that long to build attack speed. But then whenever you do finally actually get there, you're going to have crazy fast attack speed.
Whack, whack, whack.
Whack, whack, whack.
Everyone's dead. What could be interesting here is if you now start seeing the attack speed jungle Diana, because that was terrifying before anyways. And so now it just becomes like the later the game goes, the more likely she's just going to hit you 3 times and poof.
All right, Aiden, do you have anything to add about Caitlyn?
You're
Wait,
a word I'm not gonna say.
Oh, what is it?
A big dumb head.
Whoa.
That's several words.
That's so below the pale in Canada. You're going to have to write me like an apology letter.
Before we run out of time, do we want to mention new Thornmail, and then we're good?
Yes, I do actually want to mention
and then I
New
think
Thornmail.
we are all good. But I'm going to go get a beer real quick. So I'll be
Okay,
back.
so while Brad's getting a beer, I'll get over like the nitty gritty of what's going on with Thornmail. Okay.
Cool.
So first off, we'll start with the additional new item that they added to the game. That's a component item of Thornmail, like baby Thornmail, and it's called Bramble's Vest or Bramble Vest. What this is it's cloth armor, 300 gold, so 900 total gold. And it gives you 35 armor. Upon being hit by a basic attack, reflects 20 magic damage and inflicts grievous wounds on the attacker for 1 second. Okay, Aiden, before I move on to Thornmail, thoughts on that component item?
I think it's way better than the before. It was just cloth armor and chain vest plus money, but now because of they had to get they didn't have to. I guess it makes sense that they made either way it's better no matter what, because now you have
Aiden, do you care to finish any of those thoughts you just had?
So
you went rapid fire and incomplete sentences there.
I keep finishing my thought in my head, but then it's stupid, so I try to move on to a new point. So with the old Thornmail, you had cloth armor, chain vests, and like 1,050 gold or something ridiculous, which is never good. You never want items where you have to sell on so much gold before you can finish them. With this, I think you're sitting on less. I'm not sure, but either way, you're spending gold in smaller increments, which means you can always go back and buy a piece of it, right? You always have the cloth armor to buy, you always have ruby crystals to buy, you always have X set, whatever, right?
Yeah, and the
right?
combined cost is only 400 gold, which is nothing.
Exactly.
It's 300,
so it's way
actually. It's even
It
less.
says 400 on.
No, for the Bramble Vest. We're talking about the vest.
Oh, sorry. I meant the combined cost for Thornmail.
Yeah.
Which you could, if you're an AD player, like an attack, like just an ADC player, that's not a good thing. But if you're a tank player, that's great. Like that's honestly, that's how they should balance like a lot of itemization, right? Around how fast you can get these items. When do you have to sit on a lot of gold? That's a good way to balance it. And currently, it's going to benefit tanks based on those costs. And I really like the idea of you can buy like a mini version of it. Maybe you're laying against a Tryndamere, and then you just buy Bramble Vest, and then you don't finish Thornmail until like your 4th item, right? Because it's just because you just want to deal with that Tryndamere until like maybe their 80 carry scales up, and then you can finish it.
Right,
think it's
kind of
great.
like how you could get like the
Cowl.
the Warden's Mail early in a lot of in attack speed matchups, or the Cowl is another good example, or
Yeah.
just getting like a Hex
Or
Drinker.
Hex Drinker, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
It's
just need
great.
this piece of this really awesome item, and I can
Or Quicksilver Sash is another one.
or a
Yeah.
Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, this is kind of like the baby version of Big Daddy Thornmail. So Thornmail actually got a little bit different. Its build path went from Cloth Armor Chain Vest 1250 gold to Bramble Vest Ruby Crystal Warden's Mail 400 gold. This increases
Good lord, that's a lot of money.
Oh shit, yeah. It increases the cost of the item from 2350 to 2900 gold. So it's a much more expensive overall purchase. The armor drops from 100 to 75 and the health granted goes from 0 to 250. And then upon being hit by a basic attack, reflects magic damage equal to 25 plus 10% of your bonus armor, inflicting grievous wounds on the attacker for 1 second. Unique passive, Cold Steel. When hit by a basic attack, cripples the source's attack speed by 15% for 1 second.
This item sounds super duper duper OP to me right now.
Yeah, here's the things that particularly I think make it fantastically good. It is a super high armor item. Even with the loss of 25 armor on it, 75 is still on the upper tier of armor granting among items. The fact that it gives 250 health while giving you 75 armor actually gives you probably, and I mean in rare circumstances, unless you'd already been stacking health, it gives you more effective health than it would if you just had 100 armor. So you will be effectively better against AD, and you will be effectively better against AP damage because your flat health will mitigate some of that damage versus where the old Thornmail would be.
And then on top of that, it's like, hey, so listen, if you auto attack me, you get to lifesteal less. Also, you don't get to auto attack me as much because you have less
Also,
attack speed.
the damage reflected scales on your bonus armor.
Yeah. Also, if you have an all AD team and they have like 2 tanks with Thornmail, you can't even fight. Like it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go home.
I mean, here's the thing. This is really good on Rammus. This is really good on Tarek.
Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite. All these champions that are going to be stacking armor anyway. That, like Scion is another one that's pretty good on. All these champions can benefit from all those stats. It's weird though because it leaves Frozen Heart as kind of an odd man out because Frozen Heart's still just only armor, no hit points.
It's the I need CDR and mana.
Yeah,
And
I need
armor.
CDR mana and armor would be nice. That's the item it is. So I mean,
Yeah. I really like this change, but I think that putting the Warden's Mail in there is too much.
I agree. I think they could lose the Cold Steel. Passive.
Yeah, like if it was like Bramble Vest and Chain Vest and a Ruby Crystal or something like that, where it's like you get a bunch of armor and a little bit of health, but the Cold Steel passive is it's a lot.
The other
It feels
thing
like it's
is-
doing everything.
Yeah, that's what I think the problem is because if you mix this with like Warmogs, that's a lot of mitigation, a lot of health, and then or like even a Dead Man's Plate.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You throw a Dead Man's Plate in there.
You know, and that would be another fantastic one. Even a Sunfire Cape or any of those other options stack really well with this.
Sunfire Cape, no armor though.
Huh? Still has armor on Sunfire Cape.
Sorry, that's not what I meant to say. You don't have as much armor as you used to.
Right. So I mean, but all that being said, this is an item that it does everything and it stacks with other armor for effectiveness. That's pretty gross in terms of the grand scheme of things. Plus, I saw a video on this. It was made by who's the guy we had on the show that was the Sejuani main? Was it Exile? Was that his
Gunday.
name? No,
Gunday.
Gunday Monday? Okay.
Hey.
Okay, yes, thank you. So, there was a video put out that showed the effectiveness of combining like a Warmog's plus a Gargoyle's Stone Plate. Or not Warmog, sorry. Locket and Gargoyle Stone Plate. So if you activate Gargoyle Stone Plate and you get all the bonuses in the middle of 3 people, and then you activate Locket, it gives you an enormous shield because it's based on your maximum health after having applied Gargoyles. To the tune of like, it can give like an 800 health shield in the right circumstances. If you have
800 sounds wrong.
No,
well, let's put it
is.
3,000
bigger
bonus
than
health. Yeah, it is. 3,000 bonus HP is a 1,500 health shield. 3,000.
Okay, so we're looking.
It's more like 1,700 ish if you're like
Okay.
late game.
Yeah, okay. I got
Sorry,
It's ridiculous.
I was like,
I mean,
800 is
yeah.
a lot, but that's not like a broken number.
Well, yeah, it's like if I hit all of the buttons right at the right times, we win item.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you combine that with new Thornmail, well, it also gives you more health to dick with. That would be a pretty broken combination. And, I don't see how you're supposed to kind of work around this. Plus, this item feels like a huge nerf to all AD carries.
Yeah, and I was looking into the cost effectiveness because I really do like looking into the numbers of it. So old Thornmail was 86% cost effective because armor isn't super cost effective, and it just gave 100 of it, but it was a lot cheaper, right? That being said, you could argue that the other 14% cost effectiveness was made up by old Thornmail passive. New Thornmail, without its passives, which it has a lot of, is 74% gold effective. Or cost effective because of the added health, but it's also lower because of cost. That being said, 74% gold effective is absolutely insane on an item that has a old Thornmail passive, which is I think a little bit weaker, but it scales with armor, which could make it stronger, and it has cold steel, and it has grievous wounds.
There you go. Yeah.
Like that's a lot of passives that I think easily make up that gold efficiency. Like no, not even close. Like easily going to make up those, as long as you don't build it into like a full AP team. But
Well, if you do that, then you're not really worrying about gold efficiency because something is wrong.
I honestly, it feels to me like we're gonna, with items like this, we're gonna swing back into all lifesteal AD carries are gone again, because if you have a lifesteal AD carry, you build this and then that person dies.
Hey Ziggs, welcome back to the bot lane, baby.
Yeah, we're
You
like,
don't give a fuck about Thornmail.
you just have to build like, I guess, crit or something like that, like crit ADCs.
Crit, and you need like a bloodthirster.
Well, it wouldn't matter. You'd have grievous wounds.
Yeah, but you're still getting. I mean, you still get half life steal, so like
Yeah,
it's
but-
still a lot.
I mean, the effectiveness of those items is like gutted.
Right, but
terms
the
of-
thing is, because you're reflecting so much damage, you need the lifesteal. Otherwise, you're just killing
Well, that's what I
yourself
was
when
saying.
you auto.
You'd probably want crit because then you'd be doing. You're going to take the same amount of damage from the Thornmail because it doesn't scale off of your damage at all. It's flat. So it
Right,
doesn't
but I'm
like
s-
reflect damage. It does a base damage back to you based
No.
on what their stats are.
I
but-
follow you. I'm saying you want the crit plus you want like the bloodthirst. So maybe you go like i.e. 2 attack speed items and then a bloodthirster. I'm not saying it's like the first purchase, but you need lifesteal at some point or you're going to
I get
kill
what you're
yourself.
saying, but I'm saying like with the crit, the whole point of the crit is to do as much damage in as few auto attacks as possible, so you take less damage
I follow you.
to kill them.
I mean, the reality of the situation is you're both wrong, and caster ADs are going to be played like Varus and Jhin.
That's a good point.
But that's
The
probably the reality of the
is
situation.
I didn't need you to sit around on your fucking high horse that whole time, and then you come in and you're like, "Hey, old fellas, go fuck yourselves." You know what? You young
Maybe
whippersnapper.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Varus
No,
will
you
probably
could have just
become
you could have just not let us look like idiots the whole time. Been like, actually,
Pardon
What
me,
about-
fellas. Before you launch on a tirade that's entirely incorrect, you've forgotten one main group
I mean, it was
of ADCs.
interesting.
sounds like Jin's gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I think they'll both come back into meta.
Cause like homeboy barely autos.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yeah, there we go. I really feel like that's the big ones that I really want to touch. I mean, they're gonna do some more dicking with lethality items. I don't know. I didn't really.
No one likes a lethality dicking.
I don't enjoy lethality metas. I just don't. Because it feels like when lethality does anything, it's broken. When lethality is not good or not like top, you just don't see it at all. You know, it's either like broken or useless. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like ignoring armor is a very dangerous thing when it comes to it's very hard to itemize against.
But
And
why
when
is flat
you,
magic pen cool?
huh?
Why is flat magic pen cool?
I don't really like flat magic. That's actually a stat that's pretty hard to get your hands on.
No, it's not.
Flat magic pin?
There's
So
three items.
Sork shoes, flat magic pen, and haunting guys. Like even just those two, that's a ton of flat magic pen straight away.
Right. That's what I'm
I just
saying.
feel like it's
though,
better
but
balanced.
you can actually mitigate that far better because there's not 15 magic pen items. You could
Right,
build
but-
an entire build of lethality.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think that flat pen should just go away as a whole.
And just stick with percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be dangerous though if you had more than like a couple of items that do percentage. But that being said, I don't have a problem with that either, because if you have just a couple of items that do percentage, then the rest of your build is customizable to the type of damage you want to do, or whether you want to get lifesteal, or you want to do crit, or you need to blah 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 blah. You know, you've only got 5 slots with boots. So a couple of items seems to make sense if you're going to spend that to counter a threat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's my problem with lethality is that it's so detrimental to people who don't build armor, and yet it's still effective even against people who kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
At
I
least
completely
until the
agree.
late game, in which case you just have so
Arm-
much goddamn armor, it doesn't really matter.
Pen has always been a problem, as like even Brad mentioned. It mainly comes from flat pen, I find, but I think lethality's a better version than old flat pen. So hopefully they keep working towards the right balance. Either way, I think this is going to bring characters like Rengar back into meta, even though it's probably not the right way to buff Rengar by like here all your items are better now, rather than here we'll fix your character. I just think that it's just kind of a little bit lame. I don't know. I don't like pen very much, but hey. I'll build it because I like playing 80 characters.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's fine with me, okay. So guys, we have literally talked about everything interesting in the patch notes. For those of you who have diamond friends and are in plat, it will be much easier to play ranked flex queue. Hooray.
Wait, what?
Ranked
reading
flex. Here, I'll just read you the deal. It's not very long. It sucks to be working your way up the ranked flex ladder with a group of friends and then suddenly have your group become invalidated because someone happened to advance to the next tier before the rest of the group. This was happening a lot for groups around Diamond, where restrictions really started tightening, so we are relaxing the high MMR restrictions originally placed on flex parties. Relaxed restrictions. Ranked flex party restrictions are identical for all tiers. All ranked flex queue parties can now include players within one tier, including Diamond, Master, and Challenger players.
No, that's sick. That's really, really nice.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't really do that in the first place.
Yeah, it's
'Cause,
weird.
I mean,
Cool.
who really gives a shit if you're using flex queue? Nobody really pays attention to flex queue anyway. All right.
That's awesome.
Preach.
Cool.
So, that being said, do we have any interesting things to ask in the chat? I'm not really seeing very much, so I guess we can end it there. You guys cool with wrapping this bad boy
Oh,
up?
I think we did a golly good time.
I would argue that we did a jolly good time.
Not a golly, but there's no alliteration.
Yeah.
Does alliteration have to have the same letter?
Yeah.
But what if it was? What if it was like a near letter? I don't know. I don't do
Then it's
English,
not alliteration.
but it's close to alliteration.
Then it's not alliteration.
It's like a near rhyme, but with
Yeah, it's
alliteration.
like, did it rhyme? No, but it was close. Like, okay. But do we have a thing for that? Yeah, it's called failure.
That's all right.
So I just checked the Twitch chat to make sure we didn't have any questions, and the last thing that was said is Aiden is right.
I mean,
That's it. That's all that was said. So thank you, Twitch chat, for your contribution. I appreciate you. And with that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We are still doing community games, guys, and it's growing. We've had a lot of people showing up, and it's been actually really good games. We've done a lot of casting of those. We're putting it on YouTube for people to watch. You can see your own game casted, and a lot of people are having a lot of fun with that. So, show up, hang out, be a part of it. Hell, even like level 27 guy got into the action, and we're happy to have him too. So, if you want to show up, we'll try to get you into a game. If we have so many people that there's like 15 or 20 show up, we'll run 2 games if that's what we need to do, or we can break it out further by elo. That's fun too. I don't know, but that would be a good problem to have to solve. All right.
I agree.
Other than that, we have episode 150 coming up, and we are doing some fun stuff with that. You'll have to wait and see exactly what it is we're going to do, but it should be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. You should be too. Check it out next week. Here we go. That's what's happening. All right. And with that, I will say good night, everybody!
See you later.
It's your boy Brad, and I'll see you
Holy
at episode 150.
Holy shit, Aiden. You had the sex offenderiest log out I've ever heard in my entire life.
I thought that was my regular voice.
Hey, good night, children. Sleep well.
Don't
You
get
don't
in
call
the,
me
I'll see you in
Aiden
the
taught
morning.
touch your rock arts for nothing.
don't get in the van unless I'm in the van. Then get in the van.
Nah, those are sleeping pills that make you happy and smile. You just take a handful. You'll be fine. Don't tell your parents.
Call them happy pills.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream, and we'll end it there.